From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Brenda Molina Navidad. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says a new chapter for Syria can begin. That's after opposition forces entered the Syrian capital of Damascus and ended half a century of rule by President Bashar Assad's family. Reporter James Longman has more.
This is one of the most extraordinary moments in the history of the Middle East. Bashar al-Assad inherited power from his father nearly 25 years ago. He has clung on to that power for more than 13 years of civil war, but now a new rebel movement has managed to topple him in less than 2 weeks.
Assad fled the country and is now reported to be in Russia. And when the news came down in Aleppo, Syria, celebrations could be heard in the streets. And as these developments unfold, Canadian press reporter Naira Ahmed says Ottawa has urged Canadians to avoid all travel to the Middle Eastern country.
An updated travel advisory is warning people to avoid the Middle Eastern country and consider leaving if it's safe to do so. Ottawa describes the security situation as volatile and says the Damascus and Aleppo airports, as well as some border crossings, are closed. Naira Ahmed, the Canadian Press.
The Premier of Quebec says he met with U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in Paris this weekend for the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral, and the two spoke about border control and a proposed 25% tariff on Canadian goods. Trump promised the hefty tariff if Canada doesn't improve security at the border and stop the flow of migrants and illegal drugs. 3 Chilean nationals have escaped from an immigration holding center in Quebec. It's unclear how they escaped or why they had been detained. Coming up this week in business, the Bank of Canada will make its final interest rate announcement for the year. The central bank has cut its policy interest rate 4 times so far this year, including a half percentage point cut in October to bring it down to 3.75%. Sobeys' parent company will report its second quarter results after a report last week that food prices are likely to increase by 3 to 5% next year. And Statistics Canada will release its latest snapshot of how much Canadians owe relative to their income. In entertainment,
the night you danced like you knew our lives would never be the same.
it's the end of an Eras tour. Taylor Swift will take the stage tonight at Vancouver's BC Place for the final show of her record-smashing tour. Moana 2 remains at the top of the box office in its second weekend in theaters.
You never saw me like this, even though I still look very cool.
Moana 2 brought in another $52 million domestically, according to studio estimates. It's already made $300 million domestically, which beats what the original movie made. I'm Archie Zaraletta.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Ottawa Senators are looking for a third straight win as they welcome the New York Islanders in NHL action. The Senators entered the game 2 points behind Tampa Bay for fourth place in the Atlantic Division. The Lightning are taking on the Canucks in Vancouver. Winnipeg hosts Columbus, and later today, Calgary visits Anaheim. Oliver Bjorkstrand had 2 goals and 2 assists as the Seattle Kraken defeated the New York Rangers 7-5 at Madison Square Garden. He says the Kraken didn't want to settle for a 2-2 road trip.
We knew we had to find a way to bounce back and create some energy and so on, so we found it, which was good.
The NBA has fined San Antonio Spurs center Zach Collins $35,000 US for making an obscene gesture on the court after being ejected in the second quarter of the Spurs' 140-113 home loss to the Sacramento Kings. From the Canadian Press, I'm Brenda Molina Navidad.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.